This conference will now be recorded.
All right, let's do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so budget-wise, and my magic spreadsheet.
We don't have that sheet, do we?
Yeah, it's this. It's the big printout you got. It goes in the same. You don't have that exact sheet,
Yeah.
but it's just a summary of everything. And the tax rate. So the request came in at about a 2.35% increase. We did get the new assessment value from the county. So that's in here. It went up about $1 million. So that helps us out. And I, with like 4 changes, got it to 1.9%.
Wow.
So if you guys are okay with the 4 changes, then we're probably pretty good. But
Short
I mean,
meeting, huh?
it should be a short meeting. So on the revenue side, there's this change right here, which is refund prior year. I took it from 20,000 to 30,000. That's the money we encumber at the end of the year, and that's still very conservative. It's on the second page, about halfway down.
Second page halfway down, thank you. Yep. So yeah, okay.
Okay. So that's what got us to 1.91%. So then, under DPW, the only change that I would propose we make,
What page we on?
I'm gonna let you know.
DPW, yeah, what's the heading?
It's called Erie Street Generator.
5110. Oh, the Erie Street generator.
So I propose that we make that 0 and pay it out of ARPA money. That's our match to the grant we got. It's a one-time charge, $20,000, and I'm still with it.
Page 9?
Page 9?
Well, that's where DP funding is.
He's not too far into it.
DPW starts at 9 and goes to 18. You say Mike had said toward the beginning.
I see. It's on page 11, right at the top.
Erie Street generator,
Yep,
page 11 at the top.
Take that out.
right. But not take it out, just say we're gonna say it with ARPA money, but in the budget it'll be 0.
Oh, okay.
Just because that's a one-time deal. I mean, we got $180,000 of ARPA money left. And my proposal is that we take that $20,000 and split it evenly into the fire reserve, which Jimmy requested 0.
Because there is 0 in there right now for it.
So I'm saying we put $10,000 in the fire reserve.
What page we on?
Fire
That's a good question.
Fire Reserve, page 22, bottom of the page. Next to the bottom. Says Fire Reserve 0.
Okay.
Found it?
So we're gonna put 20,000 in there.
Yeah, 10 grand.
Okay.
Oh, 10, okay.
We put 10 grand in there.
What's the other one?
And we put, well, police reserve. Again, Joe requested 0. We'd love him for that, but I say we put the other 10 grand into the police reserve, just a rainy day. I don't know which one that is. I'll just work it back. They go in order.
So those two, with the Erie Street generator and those two, those
They can't.
equal out. So the only thing that we taken out so far is that, or added is that 10,000 revenue.
Yep.
Did that pop us from 2.3 to 1.9?
It's on page 26.
Okay.
26 at the bottom, at 10,000.
It was zero.
Police reserve,
So those couple of changes bring us to 1.9%, or 48 cents per thousand.
we're at 2034 now, I think,
Yep. So that will bring us to 2073.
2073.
How many cents? 48 cents?
48 cents. And if we wanted to get to 2%, we could add $2,045 somewhere.
We wanted to get to,
And we can go to 2%.
We can, yeah.
found out for sure.
On the comptroller's website, because inflation was 7.17%.
That's great.
So he said, you guys should spend 2%, but the inflation's 7%.
So, unless anybody else wants to really go through it, I don't see a big deal.
What do the union contracts do? Sum up with the unions.
Next year.
Next year, 25.
Well, interesting you'd say that.
We have to start
Because
negotiations.
the police one starts August 1st, it starts this year on our August 1st. So this whole year's budget will include whatever more money we pay the police. So yeah, that's the piece that's not worked on, and just through the,
What's on,
that people can hear us? Okay, then.
So, one big thing we got hanging out there is the match for the 90 Temple Street,
Yeah,
which is not really anywhere.
$1.50 for the 450.
My recommendation for that is we save some money, like a bunch of money. It's not coming from anywhere else.
This is from Julie Complete?
Yeah.
Correspondence.
Nothing for tonight, though.
So let me just give some quick, what's there's lots of things here that have some significance to them as we go down through here, but whether or not we wanted to try and get some more out of there.
That's all up to you guys. I was going by what the department had submitted, if it's in line with what we can do.
We're all okay, Freddie, we're all okay with the chips that we have and the money we're gonna use for the streets. That's all.
Yeah, we checked that today, the number's really high, but the revenue matches the amount we got in there.
Yeah, because it says here that we used, 70 grand and 21, 33 grand the next year, 84 grand the last year. Now we got 234 in there this year, but I mean, I know we got projects to use that 234, but we got that,
And we got a letter saying here, so.
that we're getting that much. And we also had to pay New York stuff too, right, that we were thinking about.
No, yeah, but I don't know about that yet.
Yeah, no, but I'm
That's
just saying,
something new. Yes,
that can help us there.
I'm hopefully that we can use paid New York and leave us with, roughly 80,000 left in that.
In the chips.
And roll over to 234.
Sure. Just look and see if there's anything big.
So I guess my only question, procedure-wise, is we got a whole lot of DRI stuff coming. And that's the same way, right? We get the money in and we spend it back out. The issue is it screws up all of our reports. I don't know if we wanna show it coming in and going out somewhere, but that's gonna like look interesting in our budget, cause it's more than our whole budget.
Yeah.
$4 million.
But then we always bump the budget to reflect that.
Right. So I don't know if we wanna show it now or bump the budget later. But it would be the same wash, right? We'd show it coming in and going out somewhere.
I think you gotta show it when it comes in, this year, next year.
Yeah, so wait till it comes in.
We can do that. It's just, when we look at treasurer's reports, they're gonna be screwed up because of that. And it's like a lot. Like I said, the village,
Yeah,
$4
$4 million.
million, which is more than the whole budget.
Yeah.
Quick question, should we have a public hearing on the budget at the next meeting? Is that easy?
I don't, can we schedule that quick?
We don't have one next week. We get over here.
Yeah, 2 weeks is next.
I mean, you're gonna be next,
That's
somebody
Monday's
can
a
make,
holiday, isn't it?
somebody can make a motion tonight,
Yeah, you're right, this won't be till June fifth.
so then you can have that, then we'd be done.
Yep.
We won't have to worry about the last minute July.
I say let's do it.
So I know we're going fast, but I still want us to play a little bit more here tonight.
Yeah.
So we got a couple $1,000s on the full-time justice.
What page we're on?
We're on page 19, and I didn't want to jump all over the place, but I am doing just the thing I didn't want to do. The justice, it's just in the salary of the justice, the judge's budget.
Oh, yeah,
Do we know what that
yes. So that
is
is,
ready for?
I've got it in my comments here, it's a 3% raise for the judge and the court secretary.
Thank you.
Which I talked to Nate, and if we, because he's an elected official, we can give him a raise through the budget. If we give him a raise any other time of the year, it has to be public. So we're gonna do it,
Not
this
supposed
is
to
the
give
time.
public officials money because of the terms. Okay. I forgot again, you told me earlier today, what was the full-time salary for the fire department again? That was the,
That is their portion of the
of the mechanic.
mechanic.
Oh, yeah, I remember now, thanks. Just too many things have been,
Yeah, no, I thought it was an error, but it's not. Cindy split it out, each department that has vehicles pays whatever.
so back to the fire, because I'm just looking at a few of the things there. Building maintenance is up, but we have a ton of building maintenance, that's up 10 grand, up from 15 to 25. Insurance, fire insurance went from 17 to 33,000.
Yeah, that's it.
Ouch. That's just what it is. Okay.
Yeah, and actually, if you look, we've spent, that's the slide here, but we've spent 31,000 this year. Even though we only put 17 in the line. So 33.4 is actually the right number.
So back to what we said about, budgets and reflecting how much is being spent because there's monies coming in, so it looks like somebody has a huge budget, but there's a bunch of grant money or a bunch of this, a bunch of that, and the police department is one of those.
It is, 100%.
Because it doesn't
So.
cover all the money coming into the cops grant in the
Well,
budget.
and it does.
Well, I mean, our budget does, but not in his budget.
Right, so this full-time salary number of 353.
Yeah.
And the part-time salary of 348 gets offset by this giant number, crime control. So in the revenue, there's 385,000 coming in.
Is that under the, what's it called?
Under crime
Crime
control.
control.
Page 2.
Page, three, first line.
Page 3.
Crime control, so is,
It's 385, 307, that is $150,000 from the school for the 3 SROs.
okay.
And the projected amount from the cops grant
150,
for next year.
150, yeah, 150,
Like 200.
235 would be the cops grant. I'm just thinking 3 cops, about 80 piece, that's about right. Okay.
So when you look at their salary numbers or their budget overall, you know, you gotta subtract that to the real cost, I guess. That shows up in the salaries and the benefits portions. Gets offset by that. Almost $400,000 they're bringing in from grants.
And of course, Chief Kennedy and I are not privy to, which is fine, to the, FICA, the retirement, the health insurance, we're not privy to those numbers. They are extremely high, but we know that we have 2 new officers, because we only got 2 new ones this year, but still, boy, FICA seemed to, especially high to me, $27,000 more. Because that's, what is that, 6% and a little nibble for the,
Thank you, government.
Yeah, but if you're saying 6% of two new guys, 80,000 salary times six is $4,800, and the FICA went up $27,000. So I'm just wondering how that got to that kind of a number, but
Well,
that's a lot.
FICA's for everybody, remember?
Well, this is just in the police budget.
Yeah, but we pay it part-time, full-time, everybody.
I wasn't thinking that.
6% is approved.
I wasn't thinking about paying the part-time
No, that's
guys,
right.
so it's off of the entire,
No tax kind of stuff.
it's off the entire 600 grand of stuff, okay. So 600 grand times 6%, that's, well, it's still not 68,000, but it doesn't matter, it's a little more understandable.
Yeah.
Without going line by line, because we aren't gonna do that, can't do that. There may be, some places in the police budget that have, more than were used this year, et cetera, but we do got, 5, 6, 7% inflation. So if there are some places, it's not huge, a couple thou here, a couple thou there. My thought process is leave it in,
Every bit of it.
because we're gonna use it all at some place, or we'll be moving it around and using it.
Yeah, whether it's in the exact right line or, I mean,
Yeah.
that can all be.
And it's not 30, 40, 50 grand, it's not 2% tax increase kind of money.
No, the only question I did have on this was, page 24, they got $20,000 for software. We just bought them software.
So I did talk to Joe about that.
That's my,
He wanted to leave that in there because he wants to upgrade the doors, not software, but it's, like the security system.
because that was my question. I wasn't sure we needed that too. I don't know, you can take it from there and move it around, but I didn't think you needed software.
No, well, the software's a big term.
Yeah,
And every time we turn around, at least in the police department, every time we turn around, there's a new glitch with this piece of connection and that piece of connection, and this software and that thing with the county and.
They will be getting,
And then in cars with the advanced computer in the car, and on and on.
and I don't know if it's gonna happen this year, like our fiscal year or not, but they will be getting all the radios because Iowa County's going digital.
And that'll be another big,
That's a big grant to cover the initial cost, but I gotta assume we're gonna have some kind of cost.
Annual fee on it.
No, it's all through the county, but like, if we have to buy a new radio outside the grant, they're more money than the analog ones.
Okay.
But in the grant, they budgeted to replace every current radio in the police department, the fire department, the EMS, and the whole county.
Right.
But if we have something happen where we need to get a different car, whatever,
Yeah.
that radio that we have to buy, that used to be $800 is now $3,000.
so last piece for me, and somebody else can do all they want, is that if we thought we had some fat and we could get it to 1.2 or 0.6, that'd be fine. But it's got, kind of as I was saying before, anything that might even feel like a little fat with inflation, with everything else is going to be immediately grabbed. So we need to pop this in at 1.9.
Yeah, well, I'd be not that in favor of cutting it down because
Yeah.
inflation is 7%, so 1.9 is. Probably cutting ourselves
Auto
short.
fuel in here are somewhat flat. Wait till
Yeah.
that goes to $4.50 a gallon
Yeah.
with whatever, I'm just saying, so. Anything we got in here, we're gonna need. I'm done.
I have a bunch of questions, so I don't know. First off, I guess like page 15, there's the CDBG expense, and that's like rehabilitation loans and grants elevation, and it's at 0, but like, that's a different program, right, than, what we won with the addition grant, or like,
yeah.
so we don't really know a number for that, right? That's,
Right.
but is that divided between the elevation portion and generators portion? Because the generators would be just for the sewer department.
Right, so the generators are in, that's that Erie Street generator is in the general fund and the other two are sewer.
Okay, but they are in the sewer budget, and that's for two of them. Okay, and then for, what about the portion that's for like the houses? That would be, like Kim Trahan's house and the other house.
I mean, we don't have any expense to that, we're just doing a pass through.
Yeah, but where would I see, like, where would we see the money flow through in the budget?
So eventually we will receive it in under revenue somewhere, and then we'll have to adjust the budget, and then we'll pay it out of somewhere,
Is it gonna be in that,
We'll
like,
probably pay it out of rehabilitation.
probably that line.
that line it'll be there, okay?
Eventually, once we get it.
That might be a year down the road.
It'll be the same as like the DRI where we get it in, and then we'll have to adjust everything up and then pay it out so it evens itself out.
Okay, so that's for the dishes, which is like DHS. And then what about the grant that's coming in, it's like 125,000 for we got the Climate Smart Communities grant money coming in. So we're gonna have,
How does that, do we get it all this year though?
no, so like, I guess like, we're giving, we're contributing 10,000 straight cash, right? Each year for 5 years, and then, and like, 15% of the in-kind work just shown that, that we did the hours and did the work, right? And then government's just gonna match that all, so,
I guess the question is that 10,000 here somewhere,
yeah, so the 10,000, like,
which I think we put that in DPW last year, didn't we, somewhere?
Weren't we trying to get all our credits so we can chip away at that 10,000? Weren't we trying to get all our hours and all our other things to chip that down?
that's the extra, 15,000.
She said it's 25,000.
Yeah.
She thought we might be putting 10 grand cash.
Okay.
And then, so I don't think there's 10 grand in here at the moment. We put 10 grand in, we gotta take 10 grand out.
So we committed to 10 grand a year for the 5 years, and then the 15 grand of the in-kind work, so that we're getting in the grant, 25,000 a year from the state. And so,
So I guess I'm not worried about the amount we get, because that'll be treated the same way, right? We'll have to receive it and adjust it and pay it back out. But my question is that 10 grand, if we have to actually come up with it, where do we get it from?
I would say the DPW,
We're just saying we don't have 10,000 right now.
Technically do, but we just gave it to fire department and
Right,
police department.
we could knock them down 5 each.
Right.
You wanna do that?
We can, I just don't know what line to add it to either.
Well, how about if we do this, if we knock them down 5 each, at the end of the year, we got a little encumbered money, we'll give them back 5 each.
Yeah.
That keeps the budget the same, gives them 10,000 to play with.
Just don't know where we add it, DPW to pay it back out of for the flood.
But if we don't put a line on it, then it comes out of his budget and he doesn't have any money to back it up.
Right. I was looking for kind of an empty line. A logical place to put it in.
There's a FEMA buyout line.
That might be the most logical.
What are we looking at place to put it, or are we looking for the 10?
I'm looking for a place to put it.
So So.
You can
that's
change the name
smart.
of the line item, right?
What's that?
You can change that name, it doesn't have to stay
We can, yeah.
FEMA.
Yeah, yeah. But the problem is, the computer has it listed for so many years, it doesn't change these.
So Climate Smart is not really part of any of the departments, right?
No, it's not.
So,
Well, why don't we put it in the clerk's then?
it kind of goes within code for a lot of how it's, how all the kind of work is,
So I mean, we could add lines to code, we could add a line in there. And,
Would you want to put it in clerk's, a line of, what we call it, grant match or something like that? I'm just saying,
It
instead
doesn't
of,
have to be DPW. What do we got?
there's a $500 software thing for that would be run out of code. For the,
why don't we, just recommend, why don't we not put this in one of the DPW, the police or something, why don't we,
Keep it separate.
why don't we just keep it separate, which is why the treasurer's place has all those separate things.
Yeah.
Codification, boys club, judgment claims, on and on and on. Recognition, ZBA secretary, it's got a million things in there. Like, for example, ZBA, so it's zoning board and planning board stuff. Well, then why wouldn't we want the climate smart committee stuff to be there, be kind of like that, zoning board, planning board?
I got the problem.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go $10,000.
Yep.
And what's a good title?
Exactly what you just said.
You wanna call it Climate Smart?
Climate smart
yes.
Climate smart
that's
matching
maybe-
grant?
Matching, yeah,
That's one match.
match.
match, match.
All right, now where we getting 10,000 from?
I would say those two, 5,000, 5,000.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the reserve fund from the fire, knock it down fire, and the police, knock it down fire. But what I'm gonna try to do at the end of the year, if we have extra money, I'll put it back.
Well, right there.
Well, if it's needed,
Okay.
if it's needed.
No, well, no, even, well, reserve fund never hurts to have it.
Right.
So,
So we're taking out the generators,
no, what's it?
what are we taking this?
No.
We took the money out of the irrigation generator over the place of our.
Right, but $5,000, and that probably is going to her from fire and DPW?
Well, we had just a
We
second
did.
ago, we're gonna add
Yeah.
10 grand each to fire and DPW. Now we're gonna not do that, we're gonna add 5 instead of that. That'll be the 10 for that.
Thank you.
And then, you know, try to
Okay,
get
so it's 5, not 10.
five and not 10.
5 police.
And so that doesn't, add to the line,
Well, yeah. And they requested zero, so.
and that should,
And the other 10
they both requested zero, so.
What's this thing?
Bonus for them, both of them.
Climate smart match. That's just a start. What else you got for us, Laura?
Well, so like the management of the grants, using that to have somebody, do the dishes and the climate smart communities, managing that, and so, and entering in the information, and so adding that into the budget, I think would be a portion out of the sewer department because of the amount that's, stormwater related and, generators. All that came from there, and then a portion coming from the regular, because that has all of the,
So we do have our part-time grant administrator person now, which is spread that same way,
so like adding it into there, or,
which they're in all these numbers.
right? So is that that's reflected in it already? Okay, and is that split between the two?
Yeah, it's
For that.
actually for everybody, general, sewer, probably just those two. Don't think it's- remember we added that part-time person to help us with grant paperwork last year.
Ford?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's who you're talking about.
So that's already in all the salary numbers.
Now, who you're talking about?
That's in the clerk's room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's already been.
So, tell them now, you're talking about the idea that maybe we're going to have Julie Nucci come on as our administrators start. Remember, she gave us that proposal to come on for
Mhm.
$500 a month as administrator,
Or maybe not 500 bucks a month, I'm not sure.
whatever the number was. That's one of the things you're talking about.
That's what I gave you this letter.
I don't know what we do with that. But we did hire a part-time grant administrator to help us with all the paperwork associated with our grant. Because there are two girls in the office are not grounded. And that part-time person that we hired last year, or this year, I don't know, is reflected in all the numbers already.
Does this newest thing from Julie, repeat the thing that she asked for before to come, to start in as the,
It's not, no.
what is it there?
Yeah.
Administrator?
It's,
And I thought some of that was that we would essentially hire her through the grant. So our matches would somehow count for that, so we didn't really put her in the budget yet. Just being the grant is in the budget.
And wasn't, if she does this thing that she wanted to do, wasn't she going to be taking the place of, what's her name?
The consultant.
Of the consultant, yeah, so she was just moving in a little ahead of, in the original 5-year plan, that person wouldn't be on board till about the 4th year. Julie was kind of wanting to get partly on board or moving into that earlier.
But it would be the grant money, wouldn't necessarily be on the budget.
Yeah.
Because we do have
Because there was grant money for that.
25,000.
That's what we're matching with the 10 grand and the other 8 guys.
Does that make any sense?
well, this is, figuring out more of an hourly rate, for the village to hire her. And not,
Yeah, which would be fine, but I think that's related back to the grant. Like we would get reimbursed for her salary through the grant, I think. At least that's the understanding I had when we went through it all.
well, it's still the consultant that we're hiring to do the grant stuff is not the same as what Julie would be doing. She wouldn't be taking the place of this consultant that
We're not talking about, Florida.
No.
We're not talking about that at all.
no, we're not talking about Florida.
No, that's the consultant that you're talking about, isn't it?
No, Barton and,
Oh, yeah.
Legit,
Yeah.
Jim Bouchard, who's also doing the, county, hazard mitigation plan that we're all working on. They're doing that too, so they're,
Of course, you can't see it.
whoa.
Glasses.
My new glasses.
So that work is, like coming out of that's like 25,000 that's getting paid, like out of the state each year to pay that consultant, or that part of the work to be performed for us each year. But that would all be just in this grant money that comes in.
Right.
This is finding like more money, just like we did for the, oh wow, for the, just like we did to hire the Ford lady.
So I guess you want more money on top of the 10 grand?
Yeah, because it would be like the dishes and the, you know, doing the,
Guess I don't know what she could do. But one thing, as far as grant paperwork, you could Travis said that's what we hired her for.
So
If
we
it's
hired,
specific flood stuff, then I could see the grant paying for that, which would more than just submitting reimbursements and keeping track of paperwork.
So she says what the work that needs to
Because the idea
be
of the grant,
done.
the idea of the grant was it wasn't gonna cost us a ton of money, but it seems like it's costing us tens of thousands of dollars a year.
So it's, there's yeah, on the second page, there's a list of what needs to be done, for which I am requesting payment. And it's the work that's not, that nobody else is doing.
Some of this is stuff that honestly nobody's ever gotten paid for, like the hazard mitigation plan update.
The police guy does that.
Yeah. In the past, it was Kevin Lamar.
Yeah.
So this talks about how we spend that 10,000 a year. 2.5 for outreach, test fees and ASFPM membership. And 7,500, it proposes an annual stipend for Julie to lead the effort. So that's already in that 10,000. 7,500 would go to Julie, and 2,500 would go to the fees, and that would count for our 10,000 toward the match of the grant.
of course, if we choose to.
Right.
So what if we didn't?
So that's the 10,000 we just put in the budget.
Yeah, so if we didn't, have this proposal from Julie, what would we be doing with that other 7.5?
I have no idea.
What was that 10 supposed to go for?
So the way I read this, that 10 would cover her, that would be 7,500 to her.
Stipend to lead this effort.
Yeah.
So what would we be doing if Julie believes she sees the need to have somebody do all this work and so if Julie wasn't there and didn't see that need, what would we be doing? What's our partner telling us here? What's
Yeah, I don't know.
what's going on? What's
Well,
it?
this is our local person leading the effort. That's not a, Rochester person calling any shots or, a consultant leading our effort.
No, I'm just saying, is that something, when we set this all up, did we plan on that? Did we plan on having a local person and paying them three quarters of that 10 grand? I don't know what we did, I forgot.
Hiring somebody to do the work so that the office wasn't doing the work.
Right. Which is, I mean, but that's part of our match, I guess, is wrong, that we just already put in there. So we wouldn't need to add more money.
Well, that is like a payment, but that's for just the number 3 on this list of work. And it sort of ignores all the rest of the work performed.
I'm not sure how much money she wants to give, more than any of us do.
I'm confused. If it only pays for number 3, and it doesn't talk
I'll
about
take
any other work,
7,000.
then how would we, if it only pays for 3 and doesn't take care of all the other work, how are we supposed to pay for all the other work?
I guess we've agreed through this one grant that she worked on to get us, that we agreed to commit 10,000 every year for it. And then, you know, we all agreed that we would do 15 K each year of in-kind work. And then the state gives us, matches that with 25,000. So each year we have this $50,000 for doing this effort.
Yeah, which the 15 is just stuff that we already are doing, or DPW helping out, or whatever. Everybody going to those meetings or whatever.
So this 50,000 that we have every year, the 125 from them and 125 from us. Where's that money spoken for?
It's not, or actually, we should show it in the revenue and then show it spending it somewhere.
I mean, when we put this all together, someplace 2 years ago, I've got the paperwork that she gave us. There were little charts and things about how that money was gonna go.
Right.
And the first year, this was gonna go here, and that was gonna go there. So there was no money there. Oh, yeah, we just got an extra 100. That was all dedicated to go places. So where's it supposed to be going?
I mean, it'll wash out, but it should be in here. At least for the first year, what's going on. Right, we should show that 25,000 coming in somewhere, and then show it going out somewhere else. Which none of that's in here. I mean, it's a net zero. If we know about it, it should be in there.
Could put under state grants.
Right, well, that's where it would go, that's where we show it coming in. The 25,000. But the question is where I don't know what we're gonna spend it on, to know where to put it coming out.
So whether or not we did put that in there, you know, in the good and righteous budget, which we don't ever have, that we would have that all accounted for. But the 10 that we just put in is this 10
Right.
that's supposed to pay for these things.
Which we're supposed to match for 5 years. So I mean, the important part is we got that in there.
We put 10 in, and that's this 10.
But if you put 25 in, and we're gonna do kind service at 15, that doesn't.
We're not putting 25 in because we're trying to hours and in kind that.
That's
Be
what I'm
35.
saying.
Be 35.
Okay, so then.
We would put, right, we got the 10 grit cash we're putting in, we got the 15 in kind that we're supposed to be taking care of, that's a 25 total. So we wouldn't be putting 25 more in if we were doing, we would be putting 15 more in, but we're not doing that because that's in kind.
Right.
So there is no more money. And there was never supposed to be any more money. It was always gonna be this, 10 cash, which we can use whatever way we want, and 15 in kind, which is no money.
Yeah,
And it is a grant, so, I mean, we'd be putting the 10,000 into something that says grants, or, you know, that's a grant for that.
We already did that, we just put it in as
Yeah.
a climate smart grant match.
Yeah, and then it's being paid out of the
the clerk for the.
clerk grant item, yeah, so,
I thought you were talking about adding some more for something else. You said it would only covers number 3, doesn't cover a bunch of other things.
that's all that this number 3 says, that,
You're saying-
that the annual stipend is coming out of that portion. That's out of grants.
as long as we supply it, it's okay.
That's like covered in the budget already. These, like the HMGP grants that are, the generator for the sewer, 2 generators for the sewer and the, elevation is totally different. You know, she, you know, did a lot of work for it, and there's nobody managing, you know, nobody here to manage that type of, the grants administrator, or I don't know if,
Typically, engineering does that. For the grants that we do through that. Like, what's
Is
the name?
Barton gonna be managing a bunch of that? I mean, you know, I thought that would be managing that stuff.
not the generator thing, the generator thing.
Oh,
is
no,
still-
That's just a one-time in and out.
Put Tammy down on.
Okay, that's, the generators are different. So we're mixing things here together, we're mixing this, generators with this stuff.
Which the generator we have in the budget. I mean, that's what we just said we're gonna buy out of ARPA money. Was our $20,000 match there. And as far as who does all the paperwork for that, usually engineering does the paperwork for that. Between them and, or Kim and Cindy. Because that's just submitting to get our money back for there. Because that's like a physical thing that we do. This climate smart community thing is.
Laura, what do you want us to do?
This is not a thing, it's not a project, like, I don't have a, I can't say we're gonna get 25 grand in and then we're gonna buy a car with it.
Is there something that we're not doing that you're thinking you want us to do? What's,
Well, like, so whatever the line item that the grant, like, writing, the grant person is in on, or
Yeah, there's some
That takes
part-time salary of the clerk's office.
putting it into adding something in for Julie there for,
But we just
for this
added,
work that she's.
7,500 for her by your email by putting that 10,000 in there.
Is anybody keeping
So we
an
put
eye
it-
on what she's doing?
we put it in a line item for the climate smart match. We didn't decide how we were gonna spend it.
Right.
We didn't hire Julie.
Right.
We just, it's there.
That would be money we could use to hire Julie.
That's the money that's there to hire Julie, but it's not in the budget. It doesn't say in the budget, we're going to hire Julie. No, or we're gonna hire this, it doesn't say that.
Yeah, and that's not hiring her out of that, that's a stipend out of just that.
That's not what it says in number 3. It says we discussed how the village should spend the 10,000 that they committed.
Oh, yeah, that's another point. We don't actually have the legal document, the grant agreement, the legal contract between the state and us. I haven't signed it yet. So,
Then all that would end up being moot, and that would just be some extra money that we put someplace that doesn't exist.
Are you going to sign it?
well, yeah, but, I mean, I'm saying, like the DRI one took us 2 years to get. The 300 pages of legal contract. And we're technically not supposed to do anything until we sign that contract with the state. Because anything we do prior to that doesn't count typically.
So we're putting the money in a line item. We're putting our match there. We haven't decided yet whether we're gonna hire Julie. So when we decide that,
There's $10,000.
then that will be where we'll use the 7,500 to hire Julie. But we're not doing that right now.
This is, like, she's asking to be hired separately than that portion.
Just to be hard at an hourly rate.
They can ask.
And what's compensation?
2.5 is for outreach, workshops, task fees, AMF membership, other stuff. Da, 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 da. The other 7 is proposed as an annual stipend for me to lead this effort. Which means all those things.
And so the village committed to 10,000 a year. And then the committee within the budget of the 10,000 cash money split up to how, how the fees and that part, that's the only cash money that there's to work with. Everything else is in kind work that people are putting. So out of all the work we performed, there's only 10,000 to use, right? And so,
And that's what she's proposing we do with that 10,000.
yeah, well, the task force all together decided. how to divide that money up.
Okay.
So I guess that's great, but just remember, people that decide how to divide the money up is this book.
So I still don't get what you're asking. I'm not sure I understand.
Well, we've committed to the 10,000 a year already.
Yeah. We're circling around and around and around on this. We committed to $10,000 a year. This is recommending that 2.5 go for, and it says all those things that it goes for. And 7.5 goes for a stipend to take care of that, lead that effort. So what is it, the thing that you're?
That's 10,000.
I don't know what you're thinking.
Well, more money for the rest of the work that she does.
So not just
7.5.
75 for that effort, you want her to be hired as more for other things too.
Will she wind up getting paid more money than we're actually saving? Sounds like she's really lining her own pockets there, instead of us getting the benefit of what it's supposed to be done for. I mean, I'm just looking at it as a native Manhattan person.
Sure, if we're all aware of
It's like a scam.
what work she's done for us.
Yeah, she's a professional and expert, and she's done a lot and will do a lot more. So it's not like
I'm not discounting her, I'm just
Well,
saying.
Pay-
Really
pay
insulting
as
to
we
hear
exit.
somebody say that
Here
she's
after
trying
she
to
does the
line
work.
her pockets here.
Well, I just use it as a term. Maybe it wasn't as accurate as I wanted it to be.
I mean, some of us at this table have been called corrupt and get a lot less than that.
I mean, 2.5 and 7.5 adds up to 10.
All right, so let me help me again. Without you being able to say it, are you telling us that you want us to find some more money to put somewhere to pay more people or more things to do things at the Climate Smart? Is that what you want? Find money
To manage
for more Climate Smart?
to manage the bigger grants that we're getting because of her, the dishes grants and the, doing the hazard mitigation plan and,
So what is
working with
Jamie,
that.
what is Jamie doing then?
Jamie's work will start once we get once we get that signed for the Climate Smart Communities grant, she'll be getting paid out of that to do the consultant works. Jamie is paid separately through the county for the hazard mitigation plan update. She just happens to be very
So the
familiar with that
question is-
area. Be
So the
same
question
person
is
doing
to
the-
find more money to pay Julie to do these other tasks, like our hazard mitigation plan, that in the past people always did for free.
That's just an updated plan that we have. I think so.
Okay,
Winchell does that.
here's what I'd like. I know Julie's busy and her daughter's having a baby and all this other stuff, but I'd like Julie to give us a better feel and explanation about what she's doing, what she's been doing, what the department's gonna do, and what she wants to do and what she wants to be compensated. I would like to have Julie do that.
Did I say that?
Yeah, that's what we need to know.
I didn't, sorry, Children, I don't.
Cause she hints at it in this email, but it's not like clear, besides the 10,000.
Now, if you read this, she's gonna get bigger than what we got, 'cause right here, she's gonna create her own climate resistant,
Page on, right?
Second.
page 2.
Okay.
She's gonna create her own climate.
Consulting company.
She's gonna create her own company. Then she's gonna become a WMBE, a woman-owned business. So she's not doing that just to be work for the village of Owego. She's gonna branch out and become big. I think.
That's what I meant by lining pockets. She's doing it for her own
Well,
benefit.
not that she's
Well-
not, but she's definitely smart enough to do any of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I think
I mean, she's not in it
that
just
she's
for
gonna become a bigger business than us.
She did a lot of work to raise her own home, and now she's been doing conferences, giving presentations about Owego, the village of Owego flooding, and she's we should invite her to give a presentation about ourselves. And so anyways,
Is that being documented, everything that she's doing, is being,
Well, I guess that's fine. The question is, do we want to hire her to fund that?
presentations at conferences, and so, and, she's been doing a lot of work for free so far that, you know, like she, to clear up our NFIP compliance, that was huge. It's not cleared yet, but that was a lot of work. And she's been doing this work for free now. I did suggest that because even within the climate smart communities, we have to follow the women and minority-owned business regulations. So we have to find consultants or companies. And so I suggested to Julie that now that she knows how to do this work, that she could become a woman-owned business. But that paperwork is like over a year or so long to do. There's only 2 women-owned businesses in the county so far, because it's a huge paperwork thing. So it's like, I'm a woman-owned business, right? But I don't count as woman-owned business in the state of New York for these purposes of hiring companies like we do. So further down the line, Julie would like to be able to be hired as a consultant for other places because she knows how to do it now because she's been doing it for us. So she is letting you know that further down the line, she has intentions to do that. But, you know, hiring a local expert who's gonna use that information to grow business, I don't think we got it. Like, it's a really good thing for us to have a resident who does this work for us.
We're not gonna do that tonight. Cause we're just really putting this budget together. We can't put 16 things into this budget that we're clawing at nickels and dimes for with this idea that maybe down to this or that. That's just not the process right here. We're already gonna talk to her about this particular idea. She can present to us whatever other ideas and work she wants to do and things she wants to us. But we need her to do it. Because you can't do it.
I would say, I mean, as far as the grant goes, we have our obligation, right? We're obligated to match $10,000 and 50, which we've got in the budget. On top of that, which is what we're talking about now, is on top of that, right? We're not really, that would be heck more money on top of the 10,000. If we gotta decide, is it worth all that work or having a police officer? Because that's what you're gonna come up against.
And we can't make those decisions tonight. We're certainly not prepared to do that. We're not prepared to do all this stuff for Julie tonight, because we have no idea. You're trying your very best, but we have no idea.
I do want to just give you the info about what she's done and not have people think that she's trying to line her pockets.
We've watched her for a number of years do a tremendous amount of things for us. We understand.
I'm not saying she doesn't do enough. We all do. We all should be getting paid.
Yeah,
I'd
we
like to
shall
make
be getting paid much more than what you.
70,000 like the town supervisor does.
And when we were doing this stuff, all of our various flood things, Julie's on the phone to experts and friends she knows in Texas, and she's done a tremendous amount of things, and likely will continue to do. But we can't fix that stuff right now.
I mean, I'm pretty sure when she embarked upon this endeavor, she knew what the end game was gonna be. She knows what she was working for. And that's all well and good. I mean, everybody should strive to be their best, to get better.
So would that be good for you tonight, that we've got the 10 grand in there, and all we have to do is decide whether we're gonna do this? that okay for tonight?
Well, the 10 grand is great, that we have that in there. What about, there's a $5,000, I don't know if that was in the codes, in with codes budget for software, or if it is in DPW for software for, forerunner software purchase.
Is that part of the grant though?
It will, yeah, it will be.
It'll
Well,
essentially
not
get-
part of the grant, but like, it's software that they'll be using. But it's like for, it's just software as a software purchase, not it's not just what the grant would be using, it's like
Well,
what.
what is it, like eligible expense for the grant? Could we,
Yeah, what is the grant supposed to pay for?
I guess I don't know.
I'm
What is a
picturing that-
$25,000 grant supposed to
I'm
pay for?
picturing that sheet that she gave us, and I'm picturing the first year was software, was part of the expense of that, X number of money coming in. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing
Which
that.
means it's not in here, but it will come in and then go back out.
Part of that's the CFM, software, and that's different than the Forerunner software. That's a certified floodplain manager.
What should you need the Forerunner software for?
Well, Nick will use it, and the DPW's office would use it. I mean, they're keeping records of all the properties. So each property has its own record with about taxes and, their, when they have, elevation certificates, certificates of occupancy, their building permits, each house has its own, or each property has its own thing, and this is like.
My question is, we just bought a bunch of software for code that does that exact same thing.
We have 16 places in the budget for software, and some of them are redundant, and some of them we don't even think we're gonna use. So I'm sure we can, if we have to find money for software, if that's required or necessary, we can find some of those software budgets. We can find some money.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying, but we just bought $15,000 worth of code software.
We're buying software
And they
everywhere.
have tablets they take out, and they do the exact same stuff.
Right, so, yeah, so it might be already within that, but, yeah, it is just the 5,000 a year that I wanna make sure that we recognize it to be in there.
Well,
What
Laura,
else you got?
That's
I-
it for,
I asked before, what is the purpose of the $25,000 grant? What's that gonna pay for?
the $125,000 5-year grant pays for the Climate Smart Communities grant program to get us in, to try to get us into the CRS.
Now, that would be
We are
the salary for the person to do the work, right?
Well, it's the CRS, the, further into the CEC, Climate Energy Communities, and the CRS, the Climate Smart Communities programs. And so its major purpose is the flood mitigation.
But what does it pay for? The 25,000, what does it go
Advance
to?
us into the CRS, the C.
How much goes to CRS?
I mean, it doesn't go to stuff, it goes to people doing stuff.
But this is a 5-year plan, so why are we upping the pay and everything within the first year? What is all that about?
Well, I
In the
guess,
first year, we're gonna spend
I guess what's the plan? What are we spending?
$50,000. 25 from the state, 10 from us, 15 in kind. 50,000. Barton was supposed to take a bunch of that to be the, whatever the name of that person's gonna be eventually. So Jamie's gonna be that the first year. And getting paid a nice chunk of change for it. I don't know if we can alter our contract with them, but if Julie's gonna take on a bunch of that responsibility, then Jamie's gonna have less of that responsibility. And maybe that's a negotiation with Barton about, Barton's right name, I get all this stuff wrong about that. But that's who's supposed to be doing all this stuff that first year, and then as the years go by, in the second year, third year, fourth year, until we get to about the fourth, and then we're gonna have somebody trained and ready to take that spot and be paid for that spot. I think that's where some of that money was gonna go. But exactly where all of it was gonna go, we don't have that in front of us, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't have that.
We had that chart and generally told, and I can remember the paper, and I got it somewhere.
yeah, we need Julie to come and tell us all about it.
And honestly, I mean, it's probably gonna affect next year's budget like that, just timelines go. Like I said, that legal contract with the DRI took 2 years. And we put it, from the day they made the big presentation, and it was all over the news, and gave us the big cardboard check in my office. 2 years till we actually could hire Hunt to do work.
And do you remember them, people telling us, oh yeah, and it's gonna just say for a fact, Watkins Glen got theirs 5 years ago and still hasn't done hardly any of the projects. I remember hearing that stuff and saying, oh boy.
And here we are 5 years in.
There you go, that's us.
Let's just start to do stuff.
Yeah, it was 4 years in August when they came here to tell us about it.
So are those answers, even though they're unsatisfactory to you, are they okay for tonight?
Yeah,
So we're doing 10 grand in there for a match, whatever that
That's
turns
right.
out to be.
Who else got something?
Do you have anything else for us?
no,
Do you wanna have a public hearing? First in January, or first in June, or the second? Second meeting. Doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't make a difference, I would say the fifth. I mean, it doesn't even have to pass the budget that night, but we can have the public hearing. And then we actually have some time, if you do come with anything.
Yeah, Mike, this isn't right. We don't schedule a public hearing until the middle of June, and then we have to have a special meeting
On and off,
10
we-
seconds before July 1st, so we get it in time. Yeah, this is way too early.
Oh, we should do a motion, or whatever on that.
For the public hearing?
Motion.
We'll have a public hearing on the 2023-24 village budget on Monday, June 5th at 7 o'clock.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that?
If it wasn't correct, fix it correct.
Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
yes,
Dave? Yeah. Fran?
Yes,
Charles?
Yes.
There we go, that's our one motion.
We're not gonna have it next week, we're not gonna have another meeting
No.
next week?
On Memorial Day.
Tuesday? Well, my goodness,
You can come here, all that stuff.
thanks.
What else did I have? Oh, there was the Elks invited us to Flag Day.
Is it the 14th?
That's on my desk, I'll go
Because
get it.
they changed that around, it
Yeah.
used to always be the 14th no matter what.
I wanna say it's early.
I think it's 6 to 10 on Friday.
Yeah, it's early. I'll go get it. Okay, I'll get it.
Anyway, they invited us to come.
I've been there before, it's good. Friday. And how about the
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I go every year.
Friday? It's okay, it's worth it all.
Anybody else got anything?
So we're pretty good with this in general. It doesn't mean somebody can't find some more things and see something that's not right or whatever, look it over.
Yeah, this
it's
is
not
not
a
bad.
final
Yeah.
vote yet.
Cause and then the county comes to us and says, oh, we didn't get that there.
Yeah, so the assessment
Something
number
right.
is the real big one. If they mess with that, then.
Yeah, that's it, no big change. So be prepared that this is probably good, but.
We'll get it updated and I'll get everything on the website for the public.